I created your world as a vehicle to shine a light on what's going on every day in our homes and neighborhoods, to give you a look at the struggles and triumphs in our society, and to speak the message of grace into these situations. Today's program is exactly what I designed your world to be. Every morning, so many married couples wake up and put on a show. They may appear happy and successful, but behind closed doors, they are hanging on for dear life. These relationships are being crushed under the weight of tragedy, financial loss, mistrust, and a whole host of other issues. But they continue to put on the act until the breaking point comes, and they realize something has to change, or their family, their kids, and their future together will be lost. I'm going to introduce you to a couple that has arrived at the breaking point. They are here together to find hope, or ultimately decide if they've reached the point of no return. What happened with the marriage?
She just got tired. Trust began to go out the window, and I'm losing everything. I'm not seeing anything. I'm a complete failure.
Is it anything that you're not willing to do to see the restoration you want to see in your marriage?
It's too late. I'm too low. So I think the marriage just got, because of life's journey, just beat the marriage down to no end.
If you know someone who is currently facing the decision to end their marriage, call them and get them to tune in, because what we're about to discuss could save that relationship. That's all coming up next, right here on Your World. My first guest today became a Christian as a teenager, leaving behind his life on the streets. He spent years fully committed to his faith, but recently the stress and chaos of his life became so overwhelming that he turned back to his old ways. Now, the dysfunction of his family has become so bad that his wife has threatened to move out. He is ready to turn his life back around, but he isn't sure how to save his marriage and his relationship with his children. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Tim to Your World today. Yes. Tim.
How you doing, sir?
Good to see you, man. Thank you so much. You know, we call this Your World because we're going to take a journey. We're going to put together a ministry tool that's going to help people who are watching today. There are going to be people who are immediately going to be able to relate with you, what you're going through, and we're going to change a lot of lives today as a result of it. So first of all, thank you for being here. Let's start with this question. Who are you, and what was life like before you met your wife?
The life before I met my wife, got saved at 17, came from a family of about 16 brothers and sisters, pretty big family. At the age of 15, I was introduced to a fast life. I found myself in the clubs, 19 years and older. I was in the clubs at 15, dancing, drinking, doing everything. So at the age of 16, I was then introduced to a major gang in that city. I enlisted in the gang, and from that moment on, it just became a real fast life. Found myself drug trafficking, moving kilos of cocaine at a very young age, had more money than I could probably spend.
Grew up real fast in the streets, huh?
Real fast. Lived that lifestyle for quite a while. And I remember I was about 17, getting ready to turn 18, was at a skating rink. The music went off. SWAT came in, and of course everybody's looking and wondering, and they grabbed me and a couple others and hauled us off to the county detention center, held us, and come to find out that they were pinning me and a couple other people for murder because of the gang activity. So I was just turning 18. They bound me over to the county jail, and they said I was looking at 27 to life. And the only thing I knew was the things that my mom used to talk about. My mother was a Christian and trying to do the best she can. I kneeled down in the cell and prayed, and I asked Jesus Christ to come into my life at that time.
You know, it is something how we may not pay attention to our parents until we have those traumatic experiences. And that's the first thing we go back to. And it's like the grace and the mercy of God that says, you know what, I believe parents. I told one of my kids this. I said, I'm praying for you long enough until you can learn how to take care of yourself and stay alive. I'm keeping you alive through my prayers. And so would you say that was the turning point in your life?
That was. It was supernatural.
Yeah.
It was supernatural. My life completely changed.
Yeah. And so how long, when did you and Amber meet?
So fast forward, ended up going to Bible college and all those wonderful things, began preaching, traveling. So I was traveling as an evangelist.
So you got born again, accepted a call into the ministry.
Accepted a call and didn't go to prison. They gave me 5 years of probation.
Yeah. So you really were under the grace of God.
It had to be.
Yeah, it had to be.
It had to be.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So got in the ministry and started traveling. A friend of mine introduced me to Amber. I was already praying that, Lord, I need to get a wife and do the things that, a man's supposed to do. It can't be out here like this. You can't touch nothing. I'm trying to do right. So we met. The first time we were on the phone, she called me up and she said, hey, how you doing, da-da-da. We didn't really physically meet for about 2 weeks. We were just talking on the phone. First time on the phone, we were about to get off and she says, okay, you want to do this? And I'm thinking, oh Lord, the devil is a liar. I thought this woman was saved, And I said, do what? I'm not coming over there. She said, no, I want you to pray. Oh, well, right then and there, I said, that's God. Come on now, this God. This God right here. And I prayed everything.
I prayed a prayer.
I prayed. I got to show her how spiritual I am. And long story short, we ended up connecting and got married within 3 months. So as soon as we got married, she entered into my world. And I was traveling, preaching, and doing all the things that I was taught and all the things I thought a young preacher should do. Follow God. Yeah. Give up everything.
Yeah.
Don't even work a job.
Yeah. What do you think about that now? Because I can really relate with you. I can really relate with you when I was told, forget your family, God will take care of them. Everything will be all right. And then 20 years passed.
My God.
And the harvest that came up from that.
Wow.
Nobody told me about that harvest. And it took a while to win them back into my life. You feel similar to that advice?
I'm beginning to see the harvest of all of those bad decisions, I would say. And it's sad to say that because, you're in, you live as a believer, and that's what a vast majority of believers believe, that we are to disconnect ourselves from the place that we live in, and that God is going to provide everything.
Yeah, and we didn't know any better. We were just hungry to do God's will. We trusted what was happening and the preachers that told us that. We figured that these preachers should know. I didn't know anything. And we accepted it, hungry to see God do whatever needed to be done. There was always a little check in our spirits. but the prophet said do this, and the pastor said do this, and the evangelist said do this, and hey, what do I know, man? I'm just a young kid, just got in the ministry, just ready to do what needs to be done. And so as you begin to do that, something happened in 2005 with one of the kids. Tell us about that.
2005, of course, when I met my wife, she had a great career, had her own home, and was doing quite well. I said, you quitting that job. You're going to stay home and raise my babies. We're going to have some babies. And I'm going to preach, and the law is going to take care of us.
Oh,
the Lord.
I hear you
the
loud and
Lord's
clear.
going to take care of us.
I hear
Not
you
me.
I hear you loud and clear.
I didn't say me. I
Yeah.
said the.
Yeah.
2005, we were actually doing very well. We went on the road to preach, and we had a nanny, which was a family member, that watched all of our children from birth. We traveled to Florida and left our children at the Sitters. We went, spoke, was heading on our way back to Ohio. We was driving, it was storming, tornado. And we said, we got to hurry up and get back. Called, checked on the kids. Kids was doing well, awesome. End up getting to Atlanta, pulled off, got a hotel. 5 o'clock in the morning, I got a call. Hello, is this Tim Johnson? Yes, this is the Columbus Public Police Department. We're calling from the coroner's office. We have such and such here who is a relative of the family, and she couldn't call you to tell you this, but one of your children passed away. It was our son Israel, 4 months old, had prophetic words all over his life. And none of my children have ever been sick or anything, I mean, healthy. And so we rushed, got up, told my wife, and of course, you can only imagine there. Got in our car, we began to drive from Atlanta to Ohio. We're praying and just believing God. God, you said that, you give us power. And you said in your word this, and I'm preaching and I'm doing all these things for you, Lord. This can't be. Is this an opportunity for you to demonstrate your power? Because when we get there, we're going to lay hands on our son, God. And so the whole time there, she's quiet and she's crying. And we came back into Ohio to a coroner's office where they rode out and we had to identify our son.
Mm-hmm. What do you remember at that particular point? Of course, you can't imagine really what was going on the inside of the both of you. Was that a point where the marriage between you and your wife began to change? Of course, you're going through.
Again, it was one of those things that all the things that I believed and began to preach and teach to my family, this is how you live a Christian life. This is how you view God. And when that happened, and it just happened to be that we were out preaching, the result of that in your mental mind is, well, hold on, I need to question everything he's ever told me. Because we out doing the Lord's will and we lose a son. The other 3 children were there, saw it, witnessed it there while we were driving. And so the imprint that it left on them, again today, from that moment on, the economy changed. She lost all of the accounts, had to shut the business down. I began to get calls from ministry after ministry. Hey, the economy's bad. We're going to change the conference. Don't need you to come. Everything dried up, everything. We were building our dream home. Well, we didn't have any more money. We had just sold the house because we thought we were closing. Literally, we lost a son within 30 days, became homeless.
Mm-hmm. Think with me for a moment, because what you're saying to some people, it's revealing, it's shocking, it's painful, it's hurtful, it's all those emotions at one time. What happened with the marriage? What drained the life of this marriage to put us where we are today?
Dr. Dollar, this is tough today because
I know.
It's been a long time and so many things have happened. Becoming homeless for 3 months, living in a van. My family's there, my children's there, parked on a McDonald's parking lot because they're open 24 hours. Dragging my family from state to state, preaching and chasing something that I was taught called this place called BEVERE, your destiny. And I believe that at a point where the marriage, she just got tired. She just got tired. We're losing, we're not winning. The reality is that I never obtained any of it. When I was single, I was just a single guy. I could do all that stuff, but to bring a family in that world, to believe that God's going to take care of, I don't need no job, God's going to do this. Run out to the mailbox, there should be a check there. So I think the marriage just got, because of life's journey, just beat the marriage down to no end, to the point where trust began to go out the window. The things that were pertaining to the Lord, nobody really wanted to hear that anymore. They don't want to hear that. You're going to church? We ain't going to church. And it began to be cold in my home toward my marriage. Everything stopped. Communication, sexual, nothing. My relationship with my children got really bad. They stopped talking to me. I got angry, began to get mad at God. Things just began to get worse. And I said, Lord, I gave my whole life to you. I could have went to college. I went to a Bible college because I thought I was going to be a preacher. I thought I was going to be this Creflo Dollar or this people that you see on TV. That's what I was taught. And I'm losing everything. I'm not seeing anything. I'm a complete failure. I've brought this family into this world, and I've done nothing but made mistake after mistake, decision after decision, that nothing never materialized. And I remember shaking my hand at God saying, if I wouldn't have been following you, this wouldn't have happened. I should have just been a normal Christian.
I tell you what, number one, thank you for being so brutally honest. A lot of people need to hear what you just said and what you're saying. Because so many times we miss out on understanding what this relationship with God is all about. And it becomes the mistress that the wife has to compete with. It becomes the giant that the children have to compete with, because this mistress not only is challenging my relationship with my wife, but it's challenging the time with my children. And I'm supposed to love this God that takes my daddy away all the time, that I can't see him, and it's supposed to be all right with me. I'm supposed to be these things. And yet the Bible makes it so clear that the law came by Moses, but grace and truth came by Jesus Christ. And that to discover what a rest is all about versus working and laboring, try to get something that Jesus has already done. Self-occupied versus God-occupied. And so without you saying it, probably a lot of things that, you now had to search for some way to, how do I find relief? How do I deal with this stuff? I feel like I'm losing it. At times, suicidal thoughts and stuff come to your mind, and you're like, how do I get out of this particular thing? And the biggest thing that comes to the mind is shame.
Yes, sir.
How do I deal with the shame? And so, my heart, listen, there's nothing you said that I can't relate to. And I went before God and I said, Lord, when we did everything we do, we did everything you said and they still died. We did everything you said and they didn't get healed. And I said, Lord, I can't do this anymore. I cannot serve a God that doesn't work. So I might as well go ahead and practice full time or do something else, but I can't serve a God where it doesn't work. And I'll never forget that night. I was walking out of my office and he asked me a question: will you become a student of grace? I had no idea what he was talking about. I thought I was a student of grace. But what I found out is that under grace, it is not having faith in what you can do to get it to happen. It's having faith in what Jesus has already done, and you receive it and rest in the finished works of Jesus Christ. What I was doing, I was under the law trying to make something happen, because I realized that under the law, I had to do good in order to get good. I had to do this. I had to fast 100 days in order for that to happen. I had to do all of these things. I had to make sure I confess every last one of my sins, whether I remember them or not. I had to do all of these things, and I would go to church and get more law to practice. And I developed a compulsive Christianity disorder where enough was never enough. And the question came, when is enough enough? But when I found out grace and who Jesus was. I found out that Jesus was enough, that I no longer had to search to get the answer to what is enough. Jesus is enough. And I began to have more faith in what he has done for me. And I learned how to rest. I learned how to rest in the finished works of Jesus Christ. Because what you're talking about, that's pressure on anybody. That's pressure on human beings. That's pressure on people who's saying, I'm supposed to do this. But that's what living under the law by Moses is about. It's pressure.
Jesus.
But then, because under the law, it's demands. But under the grace of God, it's supply. And God is saying, come and rest. Come and fellowship with me and let me show you what I've already done for you. And I tell you what, he rearranged my insides. I tell you, restored everything that was shaken. And I'm telling you in the name of Jesus, that's why I've committed to preach this gospel of grace for the rest of my life. And it's amazing that I can get someone like you on the show who would be willing to open up like this, because that's what this show is all about. It's about showing people that under the law, it's torment. Me trying to do something. God's not good to me because I'm good. That's under the law. Under grace, God's good to me because he's good to me. And it is okay to spend time with your family. It's okay to have fun with your kids and wife. It's okay to say no to a speaking engagement. And because I got to go spend time and go to my kids' basketball game, and God's not going to condemn me, beat me up. Somebody says God's going to get you. If God wanted to get you, he'd have got you. You'd have been got. So if we looked at what was going on in your marriage, what is it that you need from your wife in order for this marriage to be what you want it to be?
Trust factor to be restored.
But you do know trust has got to be earned.
Yes, sir.
And you're willing to earn that trust.
I am.
So let me ask you this. Is it anything that you're not willing to do to see the restoration you want to see in your marriage?
I'm willing to do whatever it takes. That's why I'm here today.
Yeah.
To tell the world.
Yeah.
My mistakes. There's a whole lot, Dr. Dollar, that transpired in that marriage, 17 years that we're not discussing right now and time wouldn't allow us. But for me, the failure, the shame, I said to myself at some point in this, it's too late. I started at 17, I'm 40 something or whatever it was. It's too late. I'm too low now. I don't have the things that I have and this and that. So therefore, I don't trust God and believe God anymore, so I'm walking away from it. Because if I can't do what I thought I was going to do, then I might as well go back and do what I know I'm good at. And I'm telling you, I went back to the drug life, the preacher. I went back to what I know. I went back to that life, dealing, dabbing, and eventually began using the very product that I was distributing to others.
And of course, that added more to
that added even
marriage.
more, because I thought I was hiding it from my family, but somehow it was exposed, not just to my wife, but to my children.
And I think it being exposed is the mercy of God.
Next week on Your World.
Tim's wife, Amber, opens up about the effects that his choices have had on her, their children, and her faith in God.
Things started spiraling with they so-called demons, but they were things that he was dealing with. He was out drinking. Drinking? He's a pastor. I stuck with him through everything, through the drug abuse, through him missing, me losing my home because of his issues. There's no way that I'm still here.
I want you to know, I'm sorry. I love you more than anything.
You don't want to miss this. The world today has an incorrect and incomplete concept of marriage. Almost half of all marriages end in divorce, and an increasing number of young people are questioning whether they should be married at all. Too many couples accept unfaithfulness as the norm. It is clear that God's view of marriage is under attack. We've all heard about the stormy relationships some couples seem to have, and many of us have experienced it firsthand. Life will always throw tough times at you and your partner, but you must remember to put time aside to show your partner how much you love and value them. More importantly, you must place God at the center. Creflo Dollar's personal mission is to help you get through the hard times in your intimate relationships. Marriage is meant to be treasured. You may be battling some issues in your personal relationships, arguing over finances, neglecting your spouse, struggling with raising your children. But Creflo has created a bundle of resources to guide you to a healthy and loving companionship. When you call today with the love gift of any amount, you will receive the DVD Life Talks Marriage Mechanics. This teaching will take your marriage to the next level. This dynamic and intimate impartation from Creflo will be the one that you do not want to miss. Order today. It will teach you and your partner how to empower each other. But wait. When you sow a love gift of $35 or more to Creflo Dollar Ministries, you will also receive the 4 DVD series, The Fulfilling Marriage. Jesus desires marriage to be a reflection of His relationship with the church. Discover the keys to a successful and fulfilling marriage in this powerful and insightful series. Creflo Dollar wants you to be further inspired and encouraged, so he will also send you the full copy of today's show. Watch the complete interview with Tim and Amber and apply the key points and lessons to your marriage. Call now to receive Life Talks, Marriage Mechanics, The Fulfilling Marriage, and the complete uncut interview with Tim and Amber for your love gift of $35 or more. Remember, your tax-deductible gift allows Creflo Dollar Ministries to not only share the message of God, but to demonstrate God's work and love through outreach. Operators are standing by and supplies are limited. Call now.
Join women from all over the world to gain knowledge and insight on biblical equality, gender roles and relationships, leadership, and business. Experience 3 days of refreshing your heart, soul, and mind at the 2018 Women's Conference, Radical Revolution. Receive transformative messages by Taffy Dollar.
We're going hard after God with everything that we have, so the body of Christ can come to its fullest potential, so we can do what God has called us to do.
Lisa BEVERE.
You are created for something more than you have ever seen with your natural eyes. There is something inside of you that says there is something more.
Sarah Jakes Roberts.
And that's one of the things that we have to master as women, because it's so often we feel like if our voice isn't heard in the moment, then it won't be heard at all. So we use our words as weapons when they could be tools that build other people up.
And a riveting performance from TASHA COBBS and the World Changers Church International Praise Team. Come on, you know this is going to be an amazing experience. Spaces are limited. Register today. The Radical Revolution Women's Conference takes place March 15th through 17th. You don't want to miss out.
Creflo Dollar Ministries is providing a new understanding of grace and empowering change in the lives of millions of people every day. Thank you, partners and friends. Your love and financial support makes it possible to bring this message into millions of homes all across the globe.